Hey, we're back with Sean Squared with Twice as Fit. It's nice to have you on this show today, Sean. Thanks for showing up today. To catch you up to pace, Sean and I, we've been just going over some of the fundamentals of Twice as Fit, taking people through the journey. And we talked about the three slides, as I call it. That's my formal name for it so far, where it's asking the two questions of, am I willing to change? Am I willing to be wrong? Teachability and also learning retention. These are the three things that we ask all of our students up front so that we can really clear space and we can really focus on quality learning. We also went over the lifestyle map, which is the 8 essentials. And what we're going to go over today is we're going to go over the movement map. And I think everybody who's been tuning in up to this point, Twice as Fit, our mission is discovery through movement. We believe that life is an adventure and you can enjoy your adventure of a lifetime, but you got to earn it and you got to prepare for it. We teach training, which helps you prepare for the life that you want to live. And Sean and I have been doing this for 12 years. And we have just joined a new member of the team, Mr. Hickmeister. We've been in conversations. It's been about 2 years now. And we've been in this specific conversation about training and about lifestyle and about just this new way of walking, this old new way of walking for about a year now. So it's really great to have you all on the show today. And thanks for showing up and looking forward to diving into the movement map.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Well, gang, I appreciate you guys letting me lead off the calls. You know, I like to initiate, I get all excited. And really what the movement map is it's one of the two tools that we share with all of our students in addition to the lifestyle map. And just like the lifestyle map, it focuses on the fundamentals of what it means to be human. So in this case, we're talking about actual physical movement. Your movement is an expression of your life. So it's important that your body can do all the things that you want it to do, whether it's exercise, whether it's gardening, playing with kids, skydiving, bungee jumping, driving, whatever you do for a living and whatever you like to do. And the movement map allows you to move in different ways so you're prepared for that. There's three main categories that we like to break it down simply: primers, patterns, and positions. Primers, to get started, these are exercises and movements that I like to call it all systems go. It gets everything moving, it gets everything started. And these are some movements that can be done anywhere, anytime. And they wake up all your systems, including the lymph system, the cardiovascular system, the musculoskeletal system, the nervous system, or as Sean likes to call it, what do you call it now, Sean? Not the nervous system, but what? What's that?
The chill system.
Chill system. Yeah, very good. And yeah, these are ways that we find that are really helpful to start the day with in the rising, and you can do throughout the day as well too. Sean, I'm curious to hear from you about this one. Like, when you're taking a client through some of these primers, like the spinal hygiene, the marching, or rather the bouncing and the coiling, what have you noticed about how students respond to that?
I've noticed that the primers really help open things up really fast. It really turns the system on so it's ready to go. It's like putting the key in the ignition of your car. It's like all systems are go and like everything is ready to go. And the reflection of that is people feel way better a lot faster when they practice them. Their fitness just goes beyond what they could have imagined, which is a lot of fun. So it just proves how powerful and fundamental the primers are for our movement.
And Hickmeister, when we went through your assessment and evaluation, I know that you had a profound impact with the spinal hygiene. We were working on the low back a little bit, the hamstrings. You got anything to share about that in your experience with some of the primers? You're on mute.
There we go. The button
There
is
you are.
gone. All right. Yeah. So kind of piggyback off of what Sean said, it really gets you, grounded into my own body. It gets me moving. Really, we're inactive as a society for the most part, and we kind of get disconnected. We get into our headspace and not too into our body space, and that really helps me get grounded really into my human vessel.
Hmm. Yeah, I find that when we are grounded and we get out of our headspace a little bit, we can explore our possibilities with our body too. For all you energetic folks, it's getting into the other chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat as well too. I find that these movements really get us out of up here and really integrate and bring that energy throughout the whole body. Really, really powerful point. And for those of you who haven't gone through a consultation or haven't gone through a one-on-one session or unfamiliar with all the movements in the primers, they're the spinal hygiene, the neck hygiene, and we also integrate just joint hygiene. And what that means is you pick a joint of the body and you move it in all the directions it can move. A good rule of thumb that I like to live by is, and also let people know and advise them, is do your H+1 for repetitions. So we got the spinal and neck hygiene in general. We have the 3D maps, which is moving the body in all the planes of motion through lunges. And this is a system that Sean and I learned from our learning and education from the Gray Institute, which is a physical therapy clinic based out of Adrian, Michigan. They've been in practice for about 45, 50 years, is it, Sean? Is it 50 years at this point almost?
Gotta be close.
It's right around 50 years. The other one is bouncing. Bouncing helps facilitate the number one reason why people injure themselves. It's because of their inability to absorb force. And Sean, I'm going to give him the credit because he was the one who I really learned this from, is doing bouncing with coiling, which is getting into a lunge position and bouncing from that position to really help activate and really get all systems go. One of them that I've been playing around with too, and Sean, I'll be curious to tap in with you about the nervous system. I'm curious to hear actually from both your perspectives about this next one. One of the primers that I've been working with recently is tummy time, getting people on their stomach and moving from that position, whether it's bridging up and bringing the head up or kicking the legs over, kind of like a scorpion. And my whole idea is that getting us on our bellies, first of all, it calms us down. And I've recognized that a lot of people, as they get older, they're uncomfortable in that position. And usually, success, I follow those, like where people fail, I find I want to get people to have success with that. So I naturally explore and experience those positions that people have a lot of trouble with. And I noticed that when we get into that position and we get comfortable in it, it helps with digestion, it helps with our parasympathetic tone. Does anyone have anything to add to that at all?
My input would be they don't call them Supermans for no reason. So getting down and flying, and if we look at modern society, like I'm sitting in a tractor seat about to get started at my client's house actually. But modern society kind of lends itself to like that infantile protective mode, whereas laying on your belly, it forces you to open up. You're almost doing like a heart opener and drawing your head back and up rather than down and forward.
Mm. What have you noticed, Sean?
Well, being on our bellies is one of the first things that we do as infants, and as we literally fight our way to stand ourselves up, tummy time is an important foundational point. So when we practice that foundational point, it's very resetting for our neurology and our nervous system, and it really helps fluids move through the body because of the compression. So it's a really disarming position as well too. So it's a really important thing to be able to do. You can tell a lot about what level of fitness people have just by how comfortable they are laying in all positions on the ground. And that's because that's the first thing we do when we're a baby. And that's like that's the building block of how we literally get up off the ground and stand on 2 feet and move in our bipedal position.
Yeah, it is a very disarming position, isn't it? And I find that when we disarm, like we were talking about earlier today, Sean, is like flexibility. If you are truly flexible, I feel that that equals safety in the body. A lot of the times we're not flexible because we don't have safety in the body and we're guarded for whatever reason. And go back to your point, Sean, is like our world, and just like we find ourselves in this crunched up forward positions, which really activates the sympathetic tone. And, you know, driving a car or sitting is not bad. It's just recognizing how much I do it and how do I really offset that in different ways. Because we're going to have to sit. Sitting is a great thing to do. It's just how much am I doing it? Am I balancing out that spectrum too? So that's a really cool point that you're making, Sean. And for the primers, these are some of the first drills that Sean and I show everybody and teach everybody. And these are things that we recommend for everybody to do to get started. And these are, again, things that you can do anywhere, anytime, because all they require is your body. And our next episode, what we'll go over is patterns and positions. We'll go over those in our next series when we get both the Seans together. And I'm curious if either of you have any closing thoughts about the primers before we sail.
Yeah, I would just say, yeah, getting uncomfortable and almost getting comfortable in uncomfortability, kind of like jumping in the ice bath or whatever. And yeah, it's a really good way. I mean, that's why we call it a primer, right? It's getting into the body and allowing ourselves to feel like, oh, I feel uncomfortable in this position, and be okay with that, and feel into it.
Right on.
And I encourage anyone watching this video to check out the primers and the videos on YouTube, because they can make a huge difference in the way you move your body. You know, I don't like to make any recommendations or advice, but I like to encourage and invite people, because ultimately the choice is yours. And we do know that when we practice these things, our body's happy, and the more we can keep our fluids, our blood, and our cerebral spinal fluid moving, the body will recover from pretty much anything. So this is a great way to get the fluids of your body moving. And even if you're dealing with something, the more we keep that consistent, the body will recover. Fluid movement equals recovery. And that's exactly what theories are really potent at doing, getting the fluids of your body moving, while obviously charging up your muscles and your tissues and your bones.
Yeah, I'm my closing thought and my closing recommendation, encouragement is that strength equals access. And for everybody out there who likes to do strength training, primers are super helpful to create flexibility in the body and help you access the body. And when we have that access, again, and we have that safety for flexibility, that increases our strength. You can't have strength without flexibility, and you can't have flexibility without strength. They work hand in hand. So this isn't just for people who want to get flexible or turn their systems on. This is for strong people too, so that we can bend and weave and we can be flexible, but also we can be really strong and stable like steel.
And they really get your body for any movement that you're going to be doing. So if you're a weightlifter, an athlete, whatever it might be, these are fundamental movements. They're going to make those movements and those exercises much easier because your body is primed and ready.
Thanks for tuning in today, gang. Thank you, Sean Squared. Really appreciate seeing you both today. And for everybody on this channel, check us out on Instagram too at Twice as Fit 2. We have these chats every week, taking everybody through the Twice as Fit journey. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks everybody for tuning in and learning some of this information. Go out and apply it and make it your own.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.